What is going on, All Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these long drives we like to take every once in a while, this is your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Wood, alongside Kelly and Sydney's back there somewhere. What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. We're on I-65, trying not to get killed here, heading back to Nashville.
Yep.
It's been a struggle. Struggle bus is real.
Maybe a little tired.
Yeah, it's a little tired. Let us know how the sound is. I've done this in the past, and people complain about they could not hear us very well. But hopefully, you guys can hear us. We just wanted to, honestly, this helps us board on trips.
Honest says no sound. Oh, and then Nelzar says just fine.
All right, honest. Use your open ears. But anyways, hopefully you guys are having a great Sunday, and we've got a lot of travel this week, Kelly.
We do have a lot of travel this week. We literally left Friday around lunchtime. Went to the beach for a day and are driving back to Murfreesboro, which is about an 8.5 to 9 hour drive back home, and then we fly out to Vegas tomorrow.
Yeah. We're doing the Vegas Bronco Raptor. I had to think about that for a second. Bronco Raptor off-rodeo. And you guys know how I feel about the off-rodeo, so this should be interesting. Though I will say Vegas and Moab would be the ones I'd want to go to.
Yeah.
So this should be fun, but Ford invited us out along with a few other people to see if what they've built is worthy, I think.
Yeah.
So, and they're not our Broncos, so guess what that means? We can actually not have to worry about it. We can enjoy it and go, oh, we don't have to drive back to Nashville.
True story. So, and we're shuttled everywhere, so
yes.
We don't have to deal with car, none of that fun stuff. So.
But you might see some fun people on the channel coming up.
Yep.
So we'll definitely, I know Sean with what is
Our Bronco Life.
Our Bronco Life will be out there, so we'll definitely meet up with Sean. He's always a fun dude to talk with. I've heard of a few other names, but some fun, some I don't know. So.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see who all we see out there. I expect some familiar faces. I also expect, and with that I mean people we've actually met in person before, talked with before, or at least met, virtually. But I do anticipate we'll see some familiar to the community faces that maybe we've not really interacted with, so looking forward to that. Super can sound quality. Yeah, I think it's the truck itself, because we have that soft top, so it is a little bit of that.
Turn yours off.
Mine is off. I'm looking through the comments for us.
I have a feeling that's part of the problem, because I can still hear it coming through the speaker.
So wanted to say hey to everybody that we have in here so far. Eric Jefferson, YouTube Car Spotters Guide. Of course, we talked about Anna Smith. Hello, welcome, sir. Frank B. Nelazar, Just Blaze, peace and blessings to all. Thank you. Let's see. Nelazar says they're doing Moab in October.
Nice. Well, that's it'll be chilly. I promise you, in October it will be chilly there. So definitely prepare for that. But Moab's a special place. If you've never been, we've talked about it many times. If you have one chance to go do an off-rodeo, that kind of a bucket list place, that's where I would go. Plus, the trails are consistent. What they do out there, Moab.
Yeah, because the weather doesn't change it really.
Yeah, not too bad. So it's all rock.
Yeah, and we've talked about this in the past, but if you have not done off rodeo and you're on the fence on it, you know how Dave really feels about it. He's like, nah, not really interested in it.
I'm going in with an open mind, though.
He's going in with an open mind. I was excited to go to it, to experience it, to see what the new things were, even though I've off-roaded for several years. But if you're looking to go and you're deciding where to go, you have to think about why you're going. Are you going just for an experience, just to have a great time, included in part of a vacation? Totally fine, no judgment, do it. Go to the place that you want to go for vacation and enjoy that piece. If you are going to learn some more skills and you have never off-roaded before and you plan to use said skills, go to the place that's most like where you will typically be taking your vehicle, because you want to use those skills and things like that, because it is a different off-roading experience in each of those locations, because terrain matters.
Yes.
So those are kind of the decisions that I tell people. Paul Elliott in the house.
Does the Bronco have Wi-Fi? Yes, it does.
Yes.
I think we have it hooked up right now.
I don't have it turned on right now because I'm not heading to work too much.
Yeah, it's 4G. I'm on a 4G network. I apologize, the sound's not great. We hadn't planned on. I was trying to do a vacation away from YouTube, and kind of got bored, wanted to talk to you guys. But
yes.
normally I have mics that we could wear to fix this problem.
Yeah. So the Wi-Fi in the Bronco is AT&T. So if you have AT&T and you know kind of the coverage, that's kind of similar. We have Verizon on our phones, so it's good for us because you get the best of both worlds. Because sometimes there are places that you go that AT&T may not have the greatest coverage, or vice versa. So it is nice to have kind of both of them if you plan on working from the road. And we are in our thank you, Honest. We are actually in our 4-door Bronco Badlands soft top. Sasquatch.
With AWE exhaust, which that might be why it might be a hair noisier than normal. I don't know. And we're rolling on true MT tires, BF Goodrich M3s. So they're little. No, I wouldn't say they're ridiculously noisy.
No, but they are a little noisier than that.
Yes. When these wear out, we will go back to probably KO3s when they're about to drop those. Yeah, we'll try those out. I'm a BF Goodrich guy. Even though they won't talk to us about anything, I've tried to get them to sponsor events and all that, and they don't need us. But I love their tires. I'm a big Michelin guy. I love Michelin tires, and they're all about Michelin.
Let's see. What's the elevation at Moab? I would have to look it up. I can't remember.
45, somewhere in there. 4,500.
Is it?
Yeah. It's enough. But the first time I ever went to Moab, I was with some Nissan friends, and there was a big line up. I forget what obstacle we were going. I think it was fence and things where we were at. And I was waiting in a truck, and the guy that I was riding with, he went up there to look. Or no, I said, hey, I'm going to run up there and go look and see what they're doing, what the holdup is. And I'm used to about anywhere from 500 to 800 feet elevation. And I thought I was in pretty good shape at the time, and I ran about 100 feet up to this hill, and I've never heard so much in my life. Like, could not breathe. It was ridiculous.
He was super winded.
Yes.
Let's see. Someday, Liz would love to go to Utah and go hike the Bike Stargaze. Bike Stargaze.
Moab too, if you're in a car, like you're on a big family trip, Moab, you can go see arches and all that. It's well worth it. You can drive right basically almost to every arch. They have a little parking area.
Yeah, it's very, very, very handicap friendly from that perspective. Because it is a major park in the United States, so it is definitely. And what's great about Moab too is you've got Canyonlands that isn't far away. We haven't been to Canyonlands personally. It is on our list of places to go, but it's nearby Moab too, so that you could hit them both if you wanted to stay a couple extra days. And then Just Blaze says, how's the performance in the Bronco? What engine is this? We're in a 2.7. We needed the extra, or we wanted the extra for what we do.
No tune, no nothing, other than that we've added the AWE off-road exhaust. And I wanted that for one. I know it will add supposedly 5 to 7 horsepower, which I don't really care about. I wanted it for the protection for off-road. The way they build it, it's all tucked up. We reviewed one about this time last year. I think when we installed it. So it's been on the truck about a year. Mama Bear was a little, and you didn't want any kind of noise because you thought I was trying to go for a ricey kind of.
It is a smidge ricey.
Yeah, but it's V6, so it's hard to. I don't know if y'all can hear it. I'm getting into it there. It's hard to make a V6 sound great. Hey, we're right next to Hyundai.
We are.
Hyundai in Alabama.
Yeah, wherever we are. We're just outside of Mobile, I think.
No, we're not in Mobile.
It says Mobile Highway.
But Mobile's down.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're just outside of Montgomery. Sorry, my back has been out for a week, and I took a muscle relaxer, so my responses aren't quick.
Right. Yes, Montgomery's where we're at.
Montgomery. Yeah. So overall, the performance has been great. We've loved the wheeling of it.
What we've got to do.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to do a ton, but what we have done with it, it definitely fills the void from that perspective of.
It's been so her last vehicle that we've been Nissan people for quite a while. And just because I like an underdog, I like the fact that our vehicles were built in our town. So I like supporting my local community, even though whatever you think of profits and all that, they put a bunch of our friends to work. And so we had a Nissan Xterra. I had a Gen 1 Xterra with a little 3.3 in it that's like 160 horsepower. But it also weighed nothing. It was fun. Your Gen 2, pretty torquey, but I think this will. It's a lot more horsepower, but definitely a better engine.
100%. Thank you, YouTube Correspondence Guide. That's very kind. We appreciate it. We had an adventure getting gas this morning.
Oh, tell them that.
So we left our condo. We had about 70 miles to empty per the truck, and we were just going to stop. He found a decent gas station that had $3.11 a gallon,
yes.
So it wasn't terrible. I just happened to ask him, and I said, "Hey, are we stopping somewhere else? Because I need to decide if I need to get another water or if we're going to stop and I get ice." And he was like, "We'll just get in this truck. We'll just go." So we went on and we kept going. So we found a Tom Thumb, which is a Kroger for any of you in like the South or Midwest or that type of thing. And he went to like 2 or 3 different gas, and it wouldn't take his card.
No, the card readers weren't working.
So the card readers weren't working. Sid and I went in and just got ice and drinks and stuff like that. Well, you didn't know this, but their fountain drink machine was broken too. It only had ice.
Doesn't surprise me.
So it only had ice. Yeah, only one of them worked for ice. So we went ahead and got our stuff. We did our thing, and by this time, Papa Bear's hissy bear. So Sid and I just sat there and just
put a pin in that. So when I'm ready to leave, like on a vacation, I'm ready to go home. I tell them at night, I'm like, look, I'm waking us up at 7:15. Basically, I would like 15 minutes to throw our stuff on a cart, get it out to the truck, and we go. And that's how my brain works. And they're in vacation mode still. I'm like, we'll just take our time, do all that.
No, we got up we weren't scheduled to get up until like 7:30, and we were up before 7:30. Thank you. And
we were up.
And downsides to staying in an Airbnb is you do still have like checkout process from a perspective of like take the trash out, put the towels here. It's not like a hotel where you just go, okay, I'm just gonna pack my stuff and leave. So there are pieces you have to do with that. So we had to do a few things like that.
$150 cleaning fee so we can clean the place up.
I don't know if this one had a cleaning fee. Did it? Yeah. But I mean, it
Thanks,
is
COVID.
what it is.
Thanks, COVID.
Yeah.
You really showed Airbnb like, oh, people will pay that?
It is what it is.
That's true.
But anyway, that was our morning starting out, and unfortunately, when this one gets Angry Bear, it's just best to sit back and let Angry Bear do his Angry Bear.
Irritated Bear. I'll say that.
Okay, Irritated Bear. It's just best to. We just know to sit back and let him go through his cycle, so to speak. And Anna said, "Smile, Sydney." David Zarko said, "Will you guys be at Bronco Stampede?"
Yes, our Bronco was going to be in the show, and Diabolical's driving theirs out, so we'll be out. We're just going to park it out wherever. I think
Tennessee Bronco Club has an area. Oh, sorry.
I think we'll be in the Tennessee Bronco Club area, or we may have the Mustang. I don't know. Since they don't need the Bronco for their display. If we get the Mustang, that's a whole nother.
Well, it was supposed to be built in June, which from what we can tell, our
Mustang.
Thank you, the words, is built.
No, so the modules are active, and any of our Bronco people that know that waited forever to get their Broncos, when the computer's on, it's sending out signals, and Allie was able to see that it was where it's located, and she's told us the modules are on. But they're having they've had some quality issue problems, and there was some, even some of the very early builds that they were driving around showing, like at Chicago Auto Show and all that stuff. I didn't look for it, but there was a lot of quality issues, I will say, maybe some gaps, some fender gaps and stuff that were supposedly really bad. And then I heard there was an actual fitment issue with the V8 in production of the body. The engine was hitting the body a little bit. So I think Ford's just ultra careful. They know with Bronco that was I won't say a disaster, but it was a.
Well, and it's a different market too that are expecting certain things. You've got, this is going to be the last one we expect to be the way that it's coming off the line.
Yeah, definitely.
So you're definitely expecting. You've got people that have owned every Mustang or multiple Mustangs or things like that are coming in and buying this one. So you definitely have an expectation to live up to. Otherwise, it's going to be nasty.
But there was a video that got out. It was on Mustang 7G. It's on YouTube where you can see him. He flies over the plant. You see, I think at one point somebody counted 16 or 1,700 Mustangs just parked. They have a bunch to ship. We were early bin on them, and just they haven't shipped them yet. So I think they're just trying to be ultra careful. And what happens is, and Bronco went through this too. All the plants do this. They don't give an okay to sell basically or okay to buy order until they're comfortable with quality and they're like, okay, let's start pushing these out. I know the press drive, I believe was last week, was the Mustang press drive. I'm not known in the Mustang community, so I didn't get an invite for that one, but we will be.
Yes.
But they're about to shove them out. I think my last time I was told 7/20 was our ship date. So we'll see. I was hoping, honestly, with us going to Vegas on Ford's dime especially, I was hoping that we could have flown from Vegas to Detroit. That and then just drove the car home, so we could have got a free flight out of that. But
yeah,
no, it'll be a last-minute expensive flight.
Yeah.
Guys, bring any car questions, anything. We don't just cover Ford, but we do know Ford quite a bit.
Eric Jefferson said that Gen 1 Bronco I sent you yesterday, guy and his son took 2 years to restore. It has a Gen 1 Coyote in it.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Eric's always sending me some cool stuff. Eric he got to order from his dealership. His manager said he could, because Eric's a salesperson.
Yeah.
And he got to order their Heritage Edition. So Ford sent them, they're going to get a 2-door.
Oh, nice.
And what color would you order if you were going to get a 2-door Bronco?
Oh, Robin
egg. Eric ordered the yellow.
I didn't know he could order. I thought you could choose.
No, Ford says here, so the way that works is, Ford says we're either sending you a 4-door or 2-door, you get to option it. The dealership does. So he optioned it and he got that color.
Okay, we're going to have to talk more about that because you said...
No, that's what early on what was said was...
Because if you remember what, it was like 2 months ago or so, you guys blew my mind because I missed that as part of the original ordering.
Now this is the limited edition Heritage, not the normal Heritage, the one that's based around the Big Bend. This is the Badlands, the ultimate Badlands build. It's basically Sasquatch Badlands with everything loaded.
Yeah, which I thought that's the one you guys were talking about. Like you and Allie were talking one night.
I don't remember what the conversation was. I do remember talking about it.
Saying you couldn't choose your color.
Well, at the time, that's what I had heard was you're not allowed to choose the colors or anything.
So they've changed that.
I guess.
Okay. Because people were commenting in the comments saying, yeah, Dave and Allie are right, Kelly's wrong. And I was like, okay, I have no problem admitting it wrong.
Eric said something in there.
I'm looking. We still have no update. Oh, that's Mustang.
Yeah, none of those are customer vehicles. They're all allocated to dealerships, so.
Eric said it's not a customer order, it's just for my dealership order.
Right. The limited, you get the Robin's Egg with the limited edition, so you can only get that or whatever the yellow is called. That's the
Yellowstone.
The Yellowstone. So you can only get those 2 colors with that limited edition.
Nelazar says any new Jeep content coming out. We haven't done a final drive. Yeah. Have you posted the final drive?
I did. So we sold our Gladiator a couple weeks ago. I would like to, honestly, I need the channel to pick up some. We run in the red a lot because of buying vehicles. What I have to do for what we do, you have to buy a vehicle like this. The Bronco was, when I ordered this Bronco or did a reservation a couple years ago, the idea was to have it for a year and it'd be gone. And not that I knew I wouldn't like it. We were going to flip into something else. Well, she loves this thing, and it's not going anywhere now.
I also sold my car.
You did. But
in preparation for this one too.
So the plan is right now we'll get the Mustang in a couple weeks. The Mustang is going to be a very short-term ownership. That's going to get flipped into the Ranger Raptor, which is so weird. Somebody asked me the other day.
Yeah, somebody did ask if we were still getting that.
No, they were asking about, are you a Ford channel? I'm like, no, not at all. But they're, to me right now, the only company doing anything interesting with some of these vehicles. I mean, the pony cars, you know, it's kind of the last of the pony cars, so I understand that's that. The Challenger Chargers, those have been out since, you know, forever, so there's nothing super interesting for that for me. Camaro's going away. I don't find that to be interesting. It's been out for a while, so we work in new cars. And so right now Ford with some of the hot rods they're the latest thing, and even the little trucks. So I love Colorado. I really wanted to get a Colorado, but the engine just turned me off. I would love, I've reached out to General Motors to give us a press loan. I haven't heard back on that yet, but I'd love to review that vehicle. But as far as like long-term ownership, I don't have any interest in it. We got to see them at Chicago Auto Show, go through them. I like the Trail Boss, but you didn't get a lot of options. Like, you know,
I didn't like the Trail Boss as much in person as I did
the Z71.
The Z71 up from there.
And the AT4 GMC was nice.
Michael Nice says you're in the red because Kelly's not working. Haha, Michael. I actually am still working. My last day is
Buc-ee's, 171 miles.
I guess that's where we're stopping for lunch.
Yeah, our gas is gonna work out perfect.
Okay, cool. My last day is like August 26th or something like that. So I'm still paid and working during this time.
Wait. So are we gonna get the Mustang before school?
Maybe. Yeah. That's the plan. So yes, I will take you to school on the Mustang. Don't worry.
We're trying to make our girl a car girl.
She's getting there.
I like cars more than I used to. I just not really like cars.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide says make sure you go out for Sunday burnouts and coffee with the Mustang.
The idea of the Mustang is, as long as there's no break-in with that motor, there'll be burnouts at Brighton Ford. Trust me. Might do a little spinny there. But that car will go up for sale. And unfortunately, the Ranger right now, as far as they're supposed to, I think, go in production end of August, early September, maybe somewhere in there. But I haven't gotten any emails about Allie hadn't. Trust me, we will get notices on that from Allie, and that will be probably a 6-month ownership vehicle, and then it'll go right back to Brighton Ford. I told them part of me getting the Raptor was that they get it back when I'm ready to get rid of it. So it'll go back to them, which I think was very nice of them. A lot of dealerships wouldn't do that. A lot of dealerships would, well, we want to mark this thing up $25,000. And with the Raptor, we want that right now because I think they're going to do what they did with the Bronco. I think Ford, the dealerships are all, I know I'm in some groups for this stuff, they're all playing markup right now, but I think what will happen with the Ranger Raptor is in a year and a half, it's going to be where Mars is, I think, 56.9, somewhere in there. I think it'll be 65, then I think it'll be $75,000. And so, for the channel's sake, we couldn't wait and get one in a couple years, so hopefully that all works out all right. And, if you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button for me. That would help us get these vehicles as well. I don't like to beg, but please.
Oh, and watch the videos, obviously, because
we do make some money on the videos.
It's the way that the companies look at it. The manufacturers is look at subs first, and then they look at views. So subscribe, check out the videos. Even if you're just we have a lot of people that actually just kind of play it in the background as they're doing other stuff because we're not always visual on our stuff. Sometimes we're talking about things,
and some people just they like listening.
They kind of like the podcast piece of it. Andrea, thank you for the super chat. Yep, wrong channel, but that's okay. Safe travels. We appreciate you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. So Paul Elliott said, so is Sid chomping at the bit to learn how to drive in the Mustang?
I want to.
She wants to, she said.
But I'm not.
We take Sid to the go-kart track and she whips our ass usually.
Yeah, she does.
Because it's smaller.
See, Randy Hughes even said, teach that girl skill in the younger generation.
We told her that the other day.
Yep, we were actually having that conversation the other day. She was like, I don't want to learn. And I said, it is difficult, but you know what? It's so good to have that as a skill in the event. I think I've told her this. I know I told Dave this. One of the things that I chose to do before I moved from Michigan to Tennessee, because I was in college, I told my boyfriend at the time, I said, there's two things I want to learn before I move to Tennessee. I want to learn how to change a tire, because I just never had to. And then I also want to learn how to drive a stick shift. Rocco. I want to learn how to drive a stick shift. And the reason for that was because, full transparency, I watched too many Lifetime movies where girls got stuck in because they couldn't drive a stick shift on a car. So I wanted to be able to get myself out of a situation. Now, I'm not fabulous at it. I will be completely honest. I'll drop the clutch all day long. But I can at least drive if I had to.
We have a Nissan Z video we dropped a couple weeks ago where, in about the middle of it, Kelly was, I was filming her stalling the car out. And, hey, it's better to learn on manufacturers to get your skills back up than it is.
Tell everybody.
Than it is our own vehicles.
Hey, Dirk. Welcome in, sir. We appreciate you. YouTube Car Spotters Guide says we don't have Buc-ee's in California, so we do have In-N-Out. Yeah. Rub it in with your In-N-Out burger.
We're getting In-N-Out though.
We are getting. We're actually getting a headquarters in our area.
Nashville is going to be the east headquarters of In-N-Out. So and I think they planned like 10 of them in the area.
Something like
that. It's crazy. In-N-Out wasn't supposed to come this way. The original owner didn't want it to become a franchise.
I don't know. That's a search for you, baby. Let's see.
Have y'all seen the new the spy photos of the F-150s? Curious what y'all think about the new grills they're doing on that. The trimmer grill looks really good, and I like that Ford is doing unique grills for each trim now. I think that's smart. It's kind of what Colorado was doing. Chevrolet did with Colorado's. If you notice, each grill was kind of each sub-brand.
By the time Sid is an adult, the stick will be like a Sasquatch, never seen.
We just see, instead of a Sasquatch image out in the woods, you'll just see a little stick shift.
And people won't know what it is.
Yeah. Once there was a talk of a manual transmission.
Andrea said, first car you learn to drive should be a manual. Save the manuals.
So let's see. I don't even remember what first. I used to, at 13, man, my mom would send me up to the store to get something. Where I grew up was very rural. Now it's not. Kelly's, well, you guys have seen kind of where I grew up. But, so it was safe. It was country.
Back in his day, you could actually go to the store and say, hey, my mom wants cigarettes. And you go, oh, Mrs. Boyd, tell her I said hello.
Yeah. But, so I would drive, I think it was probably my first car was the 85 Buick Skyhawk that I had. And then I remember my sister was dating some guy that had a little Geostorm. And I thought it was a little sports car, and it was a little manual transmission, front wheel drive thing. Dude, I used to rip the gears in that thing, man. I had so much fun. I used to treat my little 3-speed Buick like it was a manual too. I'd put it in first, second, third.
What do you mean used to? You do it with every vehicle we get where you can actually do the manual override.
That was my first car.
Jeez. Slippy Chirp says, how's the legroom in the back seat? Sid, how's the legroom in the back seat?
Well, behind Dad, there's more, but Mom likes to put her seat back a little farther.
But pretty good.
How has this been on road? We've done plenty of road trips now. How has this thing been for you?
I have about 1.5 feet back here.
I'm saying overall. Dad's saying, is it overall like comfortable?
No. or her?
Oh,
Sorry. She was trying to plug in my phone.
is it overall comfortable for you on a road trip?
Much more than the Jeep.
The Gladiator.
Somebody posted in one of my Jeep videos, they had to quit watching the video because I was complaining about the seat so much. He's like, I did 700 miles and it didn't bother me at all. And I just was like, I just put in the comments, I said, each ass is different, man. Like, it's just what it is.
I didn't find it very uncomfortable.
This has been a better ride. And don't get me wrong, I love a Wrangler. This has just been a much better ride.
So funny you say that, Dave. So David Zarko says, Dave, you look small next to the Nissan Aria. So it's funny you say that because we actually talked about that because I said you kind of look small next to it. It's bigger than I kind of expected it to be honest with you.
Yeah, they call it for Nissan, they call it a full-size SUV, EV SUV. It's a little bit bigger than a Rogue, but not much. I'm only 5'8" too, man, so I'm not.
It definitely drives like a car, though. Definitely drives like a car.
Yeah, it was okay. I'm not ready to go down the EV path just yet. I have a reservation for the Ram Rev. I had a reservation for the Chevy Silverado EV, but Chevy they're just awful with updates, man. We did that last well over a year. We had that reservations and they never emailed once saying, hey, here's what's taking so long. Like Ford was great with the
No, but our
Bronco.
local dealership was very good about like reaching out and saying, hey, we still have your order.
Yeah. We
Here's
still haven't
some
heard pricing.
Here's some press releases. We don't have price, things like that. But our dealer was great, but there was nothing from corporate.
Yeah. So I canceled that order. The Lightning wasn't interesting to me at all. I don't think the miles on it were 250 for the basic. That's not enough. And now living with a EV for a week, definitely 250 on a truck is not going to be enough. I wish that people could do that. I wish they could live with one for a week, test drive it for a week to see if it works for their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because range anxiety is a real thing. And we went across town, and I think we put in that video, or I haven't done I did that video. I think we put it in there that range anxiety, like when I see my phone get to like 50, 60%, it kind of freaks me out. Let alone having a car that does that.
I operate in the 20% range on my phone, but in the car, it absolutely was range anxiety from that perspective because we don't know where all the charging stations are. I know we've had charging stations in our area for probably 10 years, the Blinks.
Yeah.
We've probably had them in our area for like 10 years, but for one, we've never used them. For two, when I do see people there, they're not all the Blinks are working. Like there's not consistency.
Assholes in regular cars pulling those spots and
like a Ram Power Wagon pulling in the spot.
Yeah, it's because they want to be funny and it's like, yeah, but people need those. You don't realize, like, especially now. I mean, before I could have been like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now having used one for a while, I can see where that would be really aggravating because you're planning a trip basically to be at that spot for that charger,
yeah.
And well, you didn't get
it. Dave, I'm gonna totally butcher your last name. Zagdalarek?
Yes.
Well, it's you'll see. It says, hi, David Kelly, see you at Dream Cruise. Unfortunately, we won't actually be at Dream Cruise. We're going to actually be at the Bronco Stampede in East Tennessee. We couldn't make, obviously, both happen because they're both happening on the same day for us.
And we've covered the Woodward for 2 years now. Our buddy Tim Esterthal with Pickup Truck Plus SUV will be there.
He will, with some exciting things happening.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff on his channel that he's doing with his, I forget what he calls his truck.
I can remember it when we're not asking about it. Let's see.
Traffic's been awful today, by the way. Nobody wants to choose a speed. It's pissing me off, man.
Part of it's that, again, Papa Bear woke up kind of cranky today.
No, it's either been, I'm on I-65 and it's been 65 miles per hour or 90.
Dirk Connor says, I learned to drive a manual on a speed in the column in a Chevy truck.
Ooh, that's man status right there, sir.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide said just got back from Idaho. It was Sasquatch country. Did see a lot of Broncos.
I've only seen 7, I believe, here on this trip. 2 wild tracks. I'm not sure what the others were. I don't remember. But 2 wild tracks today. I did have somebody come up to our Bronco this remember when we were leaving, what's the bar called we left last night?
Pineapple Lilies.
Yeah, Pineapple Lilies. It was like something about, what did he say?
Nice whip.
Nice whip, yeah. I was like, okay.
I was like, what did he say? He's like, he said nice whip. I was like, oh.
No, remember the Dollar
Oh, that's right.
Bronco Dude says, Dave, when the Mustang arrives, want to race and see who gets to the dealership first? LOL.
No, because you probably live right next in Brighton there. I'm not telling you guys. I will say it'll be the first one their dealership gets to, so they're pretty excited to get one in.
Paul Elliott says, have you guys seen the video where 6'3" Mitchell gets a Ford GT? He's actually had that.
Yeah.
What about a year and a half?
2 years.
Oh, is it
something
that
like
long?
Yeah.
2 years. So he's actually had it for quite a while.
The bummer, Mitch told us a good story on that. The bummer for them about that was, so it takes so long. You know, you have to write a letter. You have to prove that you can pay for the vehicle. You have to write a letter stating why you want the GT. Oh, that's interesting. Off-road trailer and a Subaru. But you have to, you know, they don't just give those away because, for one, they want people to get those cars that want those cars, that aren't just going to go take and flip them. So I think you had a year or a couple year contract you signed where you cannot sell it. And I know John Cena got in a lot of trouble because Ford got him one, and then he basically couldn't fit in the car.
Oh.
And so he got rid of it.
Why did he get in trouble for that? He couldn't fit.
Because he signed a contract.
He signed a contract. It wasn't comfortable. I'm sure he could get in it, but it wasn't comfortable. So Mitch was telling the story that they got theirs. They knew in 19 that they were going to get it, or that they were awarded a reservation. So they had to put half of it down then, and you know the rest on, I guess, delivery. And they build those in Canada. It's not actually Ford that builds them, so I forget the shop that does it for Ford, but it's by Ford, but the shop builds it for them. And there's the Bronco, green one. That's number 8. But so right when in each stage of the build, you can fly up there and see parts of the car while they're building it and stuff, and they'll send you all kinds of updates. Well, COVID happened right when all that was going on, so he didn't get to fly to Canada to see the tub. It's usually when the tub and they're putting the body and everything together, they fly you up. And so he didn't get to do any of that. He didn't get any of the experience of kind of what you paid for. And so that was a major bummer to them. And so, yeah, he was really bummed about that. But they got the car. It's beautiful. I've told Mitch, and we're near Mitch actually now. I've told him, I was like, I want to sit in that thing for one.
This doesn't look good.
And I said, I got to rev the engine a little bit. And I said, I don't want to drive it because that car they're not going to let you drive. But I said, I want to give it a little revvy. And he's like, come on down, man. But every time we're in his area, it's because we're going home.
Yeah.
Something.
We're usually tight on time.
Yep.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide said, Kelly, it's your turn to drive. Next gas stop. It's like, I've actually offered to drive, and he's like, no, I'm good. He does get a little car sick sometimes when he's not in control. Imagine that.
Well, I'll start reading my phone. If I'm reading anything, I'll get car sick.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm driving now and I can read these.
And we're hitting traffic, just a heads up.
I see it.
But I also, I took some medicine and I can't drive right now, so.
Control the music, Dave. I do that anyways, man.
He does.
I try to balance it out well, but they generally don't get much of a say. I'm an asshole with the radio.
Do you hear control? And how do I have control issues too, but yet somehow we survive together? How does that work?
Our crazy matches up.
I guess. Bronco Dude says, well, I'm coming from Canada, Dave, so I feel like it's a fair race to the Mustang.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Well, I mean, we're in Canada. We've got some friends in Saskatchewan. We got Johnny over in
Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec. We keep bugging Johnny to go do that. I know last year it was us and Dwayne and Tim and everybody. We were bugging him to come down because he's actually not that far, really. And he couldn't make it work. I think they had just come back from that where he went to Florida and drove, which I would never want to take that drive on from Florida or from
Canada.
Yeah, Canada all the way to Florida.
Yeah, no.
Sounds awful.
But we live in the States, and for us, that's meh, no thank you. Because I'm sure there's places in Canada where they're like, meh, no thank you, and we're like, let's go.
Oh no, I want to definitely explore Vancouver.
All the British Columbia up there. And honestly, I would love to drive from Vancouver, Washington. So start in Washington and drive up through Canada up to Alaska.
So I had a friend do that one time. They from Nashville, they drove all the way up to Alaska, and you talk about beating the crap out of your vehicle because the Alaskan highway is not always well kept.
Well, if you consider,
yeah, I mean, no, yeah,
it's always nasty.
Yeah, it's a battle of elements, but yeah, it was Bronco, hey, number 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, but they said it was pretty rough. And then our buddy Derek, who drove from our house in Murfreesboro to
did the AT.
Yep.
The LAT.
The TAT. Or whatever it's called.
The Transatlantic Trail.
Yeah.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide says it's my dream car, Ford GT. Do have scale models on my desk. That is probably, and once again, I'm not a Ford guy. Like, this will sound weird, but that right now is my favorite American sporty car. I mean, it's a hypercar supercar of sorts. But that's by far my favorite, man. I think they nailed it. The Gen 1 of that they built in the 2000s. You know, Dwayne would driven a lot outdoors talked about it. He had a chance to buy one because Ford, when they brought that out, I forget how much they were, 100,000 or something like that, which in mid 2000s is a lot of money. And the recession starting and all that, Ford couldn't get rid of them. And it was a manual transmission, V8. You got a Cody engine in that thing, and I love that one a lot, but this Gen 2 of it I love a lot, man. And I would have it over a Vet any day. I mean, obviously Vets are more obtainable, but it's a car that I've seen the full. We did the first Chicago Auto Show. We did the what was it? Oh, in 20, yeah, it's a V6. We did in 20, we did Chicago Auto Show, and we got to see the full carbon version of that thing when they just debuted it. God, it was beautiful. Bronco Dude's in Windsor. I know exactly where Windsor is.
You still
I'm a Michigan girl. And
I've seen the bridge. Sure with
but we literally could
just
get our driver's license, go across the bridge, drink for a night, and then come back the next day. It was fun. My mom didn't know until I was like 30. Because I was in college. David Zarko says, for the Stampede, is it worth doing Friday and Saturday? To be honest, I'm really not sure.
So this is year 1.
Yeah, we went to Jeep Invasion last year.
So it's the same people that put on Jeep Invasion. And if you would do a YouTube search of Jeep Invasion, that thing is a massive party. It's a lot of aftermarket companies come in, and they kind of take over Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. And so this being year 1, I don't expect a major turnout, which is kind of why I want to cover it, because I want to see it from start to how it grows. But they've got some good vendors coming in. We're going to have them on tomorrow, I believe. Tomorrow is Bronco Talk Live, which might be a kind of a shit show. I don't know, because we'll be in Vegas at the time, and I'm not sure what Ford's doing a dinner or anything.
What timing you did, because we are doing dinner tomorrow night.
What time?
Like 6:30 Vegas time.
Might be fun. Anyways, and we may bump it up an hour or something. But so we'll have Jamie on.
See what happens when I don't organize things.
Jamie on that runs that. He'll be on the show to tell us a little bit more about it. But I'm expecting it to be fun. I really am. The Jeep stuff they do there, you know, they have a parking lot they take over.
Yeah.
And that seems that would be a lot of fun. They do what is it, the final night they do the drive down the main strip into Gatlinburg or something like that. People have chairs all along the drive. I don't expect any of that. But I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Let's see. YouTube Car Spotters Guide says TFL took a F-150 Lightning to Alaska.
TFL does a lot of stuff like that that's very gimmicky.
Not really interested in that for us.
Yeah, well, for one, they didn't truly test it because they put a topper and all this overland gear in it, and of course it's not going to perform well because you put off-road tires and all this stuff on it, which it looked really cool, don't get me wrong. But then you get like 150 miles of range, and you're like, I'm really surprised about it.
Nelazar says, would you recommend removable steps for rock rails from Ford or another vendor? So
No.
I will answer my side of it and then I'll let him jump in. So it depends on what you're looking to do with your vehicle. So if you just want it for convenience getting in and out of your vehicle, things like that, and you're not going to take the vehicle off-roading, get the IAG steps. They're easy to mount. They're easy to take off if you plan on doing minimal.
If they have the factory rock rails.
Yeah, if you have the factory rock rails. Secondly, if
we still have those to sell.
What?
Those rock rails, or did I sell those?
we still have them.
Okay. All right. Squirrel moment.
I think they're in the trailer. Otherwise, if you're looking for full replacement rock rails that are going to do well for you, you will not see us recommend any other brand than White Knuckle Off-Road, and it's not because we have a skin in the game, but it's what we've had on every single one of our off-road vehicles for probably the last 10 years. They do send us sets for our truck. I'll be completely honest with you there, but we absolutely love them, and we don't back businesses that we don't trust.
They're a small business out of Southern California. John and Natalie, they're just salt of the earth people.
Yep.
Anytime we get a vehicle, they're hitting us up like, hey, we want to put your...
Yeah, they actually go, hey, when do you need those, when's your Bronco coming in? When do you need those sliders?
They've been very kind to us, but it's really good quality. Their powder coating is the best in the industry I've ever seen.
Uh-huh.
I was talking to somebody about this the other day with her Xterra. We did they were just scratched to crap, man, because she, put them to use, and the powder coating never bubbled up, chipped off the steel. I don't know powder coating well, but whatever they're doing to clean the metal and stuff, their powder coat sticks really well. And for that alone, I like their stuff.
Yeah.
Rock rails are expensive, but my personal belief in with rock rails, we always get DOM tubing. And the way I look at it is it's a safety feature for out on the highway. If you run an intersection of some sort, or somebody runs an intersection, hits the side of your vehicle, it's the frame sticking out that much further to me and help protect my family. But the rock rails, there's a lot of good companies out there. There's a lot of bad companies too that act like they're rock rails and they're not. The Ford ones they're body mounted. The White Knuckles are frame mounted, which I prefer, just for the reasons I said. But there's some good companies out there making some stuff. I think a lot of them that sort of make sure what they're made out of, because a lot of these look like they're more steps than they are rock rails. And I want protection for my vehicle.
Bronco Ups has just installed an aftermarket winch. Next run, the 7-pin and trailer brake, not difficult, just a lot of time, money pit at work.
when the mod bug, I don't care what vehicle you buy, when the mod bug kind of kicks you, and it gets expensive. And then when you get your spouse, your significant other involved into it, and she can justify in her head of spending this money, it's like win.
So for those that don't know, we ran an off-road event for 10, 11 years, something like that. Depends on how you want to count COVID and all that fun stuff. But we ran an off-road event, and we would have noobs come all the time, and they'd be like, I just don't know, and I just can't justify to so-and-so, their spouse or their partner or whatever, that we can't. And I always said it too, because I'll be honest, I'm all about empowering women to get out and do off-road stuff because it's fun. I never thought it would be, because I'm, again, control freak, and stresses me out when I'm not in control. But driving the vehicle is much more in control than being a passenger. And so he got me hooked. Planningly actually got me hooked, because I had stopped. He took me out one time and I was like, nope, never doing this again. I'm good. Never.
Took her, at 9 or so. Took you in the white Xterra we used to have, and went through a little washout, and the vehicle just leaned, and she was like, no, I'm good. Then when I took her, I got you to go about a couple months later, we went to Windrock, and we about rolled.
And in my defense, I had just, on that Labor Day, I had just gotten in a car accident where my
she slid off the road.
Maxima ended up doing a 180 and ended up in a ditch. And so I was still kind of recovering from that perspective. And so he takes me out, thinks it's a good idea that probably that same weekend to go out and us go off-roading. And I told him, I was like, never again, I'm good. And then we took a break because, of course, I was pregnant with Sid. So took about a 2 or 3 year break, and then went out again. And we happened to be, I was like, I don't really want to be here.
It was 2012.
So we went out, and he was like, hey, I need to get through here, but I need to spot. He was like, hey, just get in the driver's seat. Just drive.
I got you by going, I'm going to get some pictures and film up, just pull the truck up. And then I just wouldn't let her get out of the driver's seat. I kept saying, I was like, just pull up. And I just kept telling her to pull up, and ended up she drove most of the day. And I said, just look, follow the guy in front of you. I said, if he falls off the hill, don't follow him. Like, it's pretty simple. And once I got you comfortable, then I could teach you kind of body geometry of vehicle, understanding that a little bit, and you did fine.
Yeah.
Now she drives way more than I do.
Yeah, that's true.
Except I'm driving a damn Raptor off-road. That's for damn sure.
We're both gonna drive it, sir.
Mom's gonna take over the Raptor.
I am excited. So we're doing that. I am excited to do some
Let's talk
time
about the event.
in the Raptor in its element.
Yeah.
You know, we got that short little drive. We were nice enough. Some viewers put us in the driver's seat for a couple minutes of theirs, and very grateful for that. But you know, you don't want to tear up their vehicle, so I wasn't going to just really get in it. But I will be excited to get into Ford's Bronco.
Plus, they wouldn't let him drive it as much as they let me drive it.
That is true. I think would have. I think they were having fun.
They were having fun poking.
Yeah. But I'm kind of excited by that, because I'm hoping they have a desert running course area. Now I want to experience the same kind of little rock
I'm expecting they do, but
I would think so. I'm pretty sure Von Gittin and Lauren Healy are the ones that developed this course. So I'm pretty excited by that.
well, I will say even just the standard off-roading movement to Austin, or Horseshoe Bay, or whatever you want to call it, the Texas off-rodeo, they did have a little bit of that, like, speed course where we use like the trail turn assist and things like that. So I anticipate that they do have that, and it'll be bigger.
I'm hoping. I am hoping.
Bronco Up says spouse hates to see Amazon pull up.
Well, this one, that's about how she gets anything anymore is Amazon. So before we went on this trip, she spent an hour breaking boxes down.
True story.
Which Amazon's missing out on not picking up their boxes. They could charge a monthly service and get their boxes back. It seems like a win-win. You know, you want to be environmentally friendly company, and it seems like that'd be a great way to do it.
YouTube Car Spotters Guide said, EV just doesn't work for me towing my Airstream. How do I charge, unhitch, then drive to the charger?
Yeah. Well, you know, TFL did have a problem with that too. They were testing. What were they doing? Tommy was.
Is it the F-150 they were talking about?
Yeah, but they were towing a trailer, kind of like his Airstream, and they were kind of trying to do the loop like we do. And they didn't get 90 miles, and the damn thing was dead. And they had to charge it. They were pulling this trailer, and I think it was a Walmart parking lot. They found a charger. They blocked up all the other chargers because
they had the trailer.
Yeah, there's a lot of structuring to that it's going to have to be figured out. And, you know, I don't know if it's environmentally friendly that, you know, people are going to want to use their trailers and stuff for that stuff. Well, you're going to have more land.
Yeah.
More pavement. You know, I'm sure there's a give and take to that, but
for sure.
It doesn't seem like a really thought out process. And I did see this week that Volkswagen, I put this on Instagram, Volkswagen's having an issue of selling EVs right now. They've actually had to scale back their production of EVs, yes, because they're not selling. And I forget what PR term they used for it, but it was pretty funny that of why they weren't, you know, why they're scaling back. And we're not even into their, you know, Volkswagen and GM are the ones that are really pushing to go full EV by 2030. And which I find funny is GM's just spent $800 million or $1 billion, or not billion, spent a lot of money on developing the next generation V8, because I think deep down they know that the industry is not going to rely on EV. Now I think we talked about it with that EV. We talked about how that could be a commuter car, daily use car.
Yeah.
You know, for back and forth, taking her to school, stuff like that. But past that, I don't see right now a practical use for that.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out.
We should be pretty close to Buc-ee's.
Well, I'm just making sure that
It's not that one, I don't think.
I thought it was.
Maybe it is.
Sorry, y'all. Welcome to
live TV with on a trip. Kelly's trying to find the nearest Buc-ee's. Hopefully y'all Sunday's going well. Actually had great weather. Great weather. This thing right now we're averaging 16.2, which is not bad considering the heavy tires and steel bumpers and all the weight I have on this. What are we averaging? Let's see. What are we averaging for the trip? Because I didn't reset that one. Where are you at?
let's see.
15.9 is what we're averaging up and down so far.
Oh, so you kept that for the whole trip. David Zarko says, for my birthday on Friday, my wife bought me gift certificates to IAG, and in the comments section she wrote to buy more Bronco shit. She didn't understand modding a new vehicle.
Kelly didn't for the longest.
Well, no, because part of it, in my defense, it's his mod bug happened when he was unemployed.
Oh, no, it's right before.
Okay, his mod bug happened right before he was unemployed back in the recession. In 9, he was laid off. And I was like, dude, you got to stop ordering things. Okay, I won't order anymore. Shit started popping up at the house again. No, I ordered that before. Well, then a month would go by, and then more stuff would show up. He's like, I was like, there's a point, sir, that we can't say that you ordered this before, because I'm looking at the bank account and I see where this stuff goes. So he had to start to figure out a way to pay for said mods because the recession was real. And that's kind of launched all of...
So I started making light bar mounts for the Nissan Xteras.
Yeah.
I actually sold, I think, over 100 of those things.
Yeah, and then I started helping to make them. That was fun.
Yep. Kelly learned to weld.
I did. Actually, pretty decent, actually. Bronco Up says, a little late signing in. What's the occasion today? Just that we're on the road coming back from the beach. Tomorrow we fly to Vegas for the Raptor Bronco Off-Rodeo.
Yeah, the launch of that. So we'll be with a bunch of influencers, which I'm not truly excited by. I guess we're considered influencers. I don't know.
We're that weird hybrid.
Yeah. It's part of that being a hybrid that sometimes I think Justin McBride and a few of those guys will be there. which is weird because he sold all his Ford. Yet Ford's invited him to 2 things now.
Isn't he the one that like talks smack about?
Oh yeah,
it too?
he talked smack about the Bronco before they put him in the ambassadorship program. He had a big video. He only had like 10,000 subs at the time, which is respectable. But he went and covered him and Lightbright went and covered when they started letting drives of this thing out in Johnson Valley, or I forget where. It was one of the first things they did. They invited a few influencers, and he was talking shit about it, even after. And then suddenly he stopped talking shit about it and got one. He was one of the early ambassadors. He got a 2-door, because what they do is they go, hey, here's what's in the fleet that you can have. And I don't think he was excited that he got a 2-door, but he used it for a year, and he did things with it, made videos. He did what he was supposed to, but he's a Jeep guy.
Flo says if battery could last at least 1,000 miles, I might think about it.
Well, but what's 1,000 miles in practical use? You know, with EV, that's the next problem with EV is there's temperature conditions, weather conditions in general. There's an optimal temperature for that battery to get the peak performance, and then there's the it's too hot out. You start getting in summer, batteries don't hold charge as well; they overheat. In the cold, you got to warm the batteries because they won't hold charge well because they're too cold. It's just not, for trucks anyways, it's not tech that's ready in my opinion. But our reasoning for this is just we like when we're on road trips, usually we do this. We try to do a live stream. Driving through the middle of Alabama. Did you find the Buc-ee's?
I'm still looking. It's not quite road. It's not quite loading.
Oh, we're 27 miles from Birmingham, Alabama. If we weren't driving to or flying to Vegas tomorrow, I'd stop and see if Mitchell was around.
Yeah.
Dude, Mitch to get to Gatlinburg has a hell of a trail. You think like there's no one thing that we've noticed from going to Florida now to the Destin, Panama City area, there's no good direct route down. Alabama has 65 down the middle of it, but past that, once you get to Florida, it's all back roads. And like he almost has to go to Nashville, or he probably goes to Atlanta somehow to cut over. It'd be awful.
Yeah, it is the Athens Buc-ee's.
Okay.
Because the other one is Leeds, and it's like way off the trail.
Yeah. I see it. So what's out there? I'm curious with you guys. What is out there right now, car, truck wise, that seems interesting? Not just Ford. What is that you've seen out there that you're like, it's kind of sparked my interest? You know, you guys can help guide the ship, as it were, of what we cover. We've got SEMA coming up, which I don't know that I'm going to do SEMA. I think one trip to Vegas a year is more than plenty. Plus SEMA, I haven't heard any manufacturers talking about.
I was going to say several of the manufacturers have pulled out of booths.
Detroit Auto Show, I want to cover that, but at the same point, there's going to be no major representation there. I think Ford and Chevy, and that's about it, really. So it makes it difficult to want to cover that. Plus, I don't think there's much new coming out for Detroit Auto Show. LA Auto Show, usually LA is more of a car show. I would like to cover LA. And it's kind of the final one of the year, really.
Eric says, drive safe, time to be an adult and cut the grass, LOL.
Mow that lawn, sir.
Flo says, I've seen a Hummer EV on sale at a used car lot.
Really? What was the price, Flo? Did you happen to see it? That's a turd and a half, man. I think it looks cool. I think GM did a great job with the interior and everything, the idea of it. But, man, I've seen nothing but complications with off-roading that. I still don't think they've built, honestly, 2,500, 3,000 of those. And they've been building them for a year and a half now. That's why GM just launched their the Silverado EV. They're doing press drives. I find it hilarious that they can't build the one that launched trucks for them in EV. They can't build, and they're trying to do a mass volume Silverado, and then GMC is only a couple months behind. The work truck version that was going to be $40,000 starting out is now, I think it's $60,000, or it might be 70. I forget. It's ridiculously expensive. And range. I know they're saying 400 miles of range, which if GM can do that, it's great. But if you see how tall the GM vehicles are, the way they're stacking the battery packs, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing that we actually noticed with the Aria when we tested that. We actually talked about that one a little bit, is how, because Sydney was like, there's no frunk. Why isn't there a frunk? It's like, because their heating and cooling system is in the frunk.
Yeah. And
But
it's a smaller vehicle, too.
that's what I was going to say, is because you've got a smaller vehicle, with the trucks, you can lay that battery all along the entire length of the truck, and then that way you can have the frunk and you can have the bed.
Well, so the Aria does that, but the problem with it is the taller trucks and stuff, you can have a frunk because all your air conditioning, all your radiators and stuff for that are under the little frunk area. There's more room.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and with the
Aria, I mean, it's a smaller vehicle,
Yeah.
so you've only got so much room to make everything fit. Michael Nice says, how far from your house to the beach? About 8 hours.
It was 500 miles roughly. Not too bad. I don't know if Myrtle Beach would be any closer.
Oh, no. I think it's like 10 or 12 hours. Steve P. says, hey from Phoenix. I'm
What's
a
up,
little
Steve?
late, but I'm here. Safe travels. Thank you.
CP, we will have mid-sized trucks coming back, buddy. It's just been a weird month and a
Crazy
half.
summer. YouTube Car Spotters Guide says, I like taking the old highways. Us too, when we can. Unfortunately, our time frames are usually such tight. With us having day jobs still, time is tight when we travel. So we have to be able to get what we can get the most bang for our buck. And unfortunately, we don't always have time to go on the old highways.
Yeah, and then if we're filming anything, that just doubles the time. It seems
Yeah.
like anything.
Bronco Dude says, I'm curious about the Stout because I've wanted a Maverick for our next vehicle, but they are up 6,000 since they were released in Canada.
Yeah, I saw that.
So the Stout may replace the small hybrid truck demand of mine.
Yeah, I'm starting to see talk of that. I don't know much about the Stout just yet. If I believe that's the Brazilian version of, look that up for me real quick. I don't want to sound like an idiot. Look up Stout. What brand is? I want to say it's Ram. Is it Ram Stout? If I remember right. But I don't want to sound like an idiot. I have paid a little bit of attention to that, but I just kind of distracted. Can't remember.
How dare you be distracted with driving your car?
I know, but it's hard to cover everything too. That's why we do a lot of truck and SUV stuff, because I know that market. But the cars
Are we talking an older one or a new one?
It's an EV. Toyota. Oh, there you go. That's right.
I was gonna say there's an old Toyota.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's Toyota.
What's the word on the mean streets of a 24 Stout or a 23
It's a
Stout?
25.
25. Okay. There's some bad YouTube channels out there that are all about ad revenue. And
This
that's
is
it.
topspeed.com. Do you feel like that's a
Yeah,
okay, or do I need to keep looking?
No, that's fine. You can read off whatever it says. There's some bad YouTube that just keep throwing anything at a wall, and people watch their channels because they do really good thumbnails. But if you ever see an audience in a thumbnail, all at the bottom, and some Photoshop CEO standing in front of a car, and it says Game Changer, Velocity, and all those guys, they are nothing but about clickbaiting you, ad revenue, and that's it. They're not in the industry. It's just they throw darts at a wall.
Still working on it.
Still working. I will definitely keep up with that though. I am curious with how Tacoma's going to do though. I have been hearing more and more complaints about the Tundra having some complications, hybrid system, And now that Toyota's trying to push the littler guy that way, you know, they don't want to mess with Tacoma. Don't want to get a bad name, and Toyota's very careful with that brand. They don't want to screw that truck up. So I am curious about that. I would love TRD Pro is the one I would have, and hope to next spring have, hopefully. I did have some in my mid-sized truck shop. Thank you if you guys ever watch this. I had a few people reach out to me and tell me they had their dealer's reservation for a TRD Pro, that they were willing to share that with the channel. So I greatly appreciate that. I need to see pricing on that truck too.
The Scout?
No, the TRD Pros. It's definitely going to be 55 to 60. Still don't get a front locker. Toyota's reasoning is their computer system is so good that you don't need a front locker.
There's not really good information out there about the Scout.
Well, because it's all speculation right now. Just give me an idea of what's going on.
I'm looking. I'm trying to find a good, reputable source.
What else are y'all interested in right now? Can't think of anything fun car-wise that's coming. Cars are just damn near dead. Even Mustang sales are just not the pre-order stuff. They had a few pre-orders, but it wasn't.
Okay, I trust this one. We know this person. Motor Biscuit.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Allison Regis.
Yep. Rumors and teasers indicate that the Stout pickup truck could debut soon. The 2023 Stout is expected to be a compact pickup truck that could rival popular Ford Maverick. Has potential to seriously shake things up. They're comparing it to the Santa Cruz.
I like Santa Cruz. I think Santa Cruz for a lot of city dwellers is a better vehicle, a better option than the Maverick. It's smaller. Not everybody needs a complete truck bed. It's going to drive like a car. You're probably getting more amenities in it, better luxury stuff. But I know Jill Savanello, she's doing the Rebel Rally again.
Rebel. It says in June of 22, Jack Hollis of Toyota North America shared that there is space for a new truck. Mentioned that the team is actively working on something to slot below the Toyota Tacoma, so it's going to be below that. Is what they're expecting.
When I worked for Nissan, it's funny, they wanted to bring a hard body back, and I've mentioned this a few times. They wanted the hard body, basically. They could re-stamp that obviously we get new sheet metal, but it would be basically the hard body. And they think there was a market for that.
So they're anticipating that it's a RAV4 with a bed, essentially.
Yeah. I can see that. I mean, that's all the Santa Cruz is.
Yeah, they're saying it's actually a Hyundai Tucson with a bed. I remember that press event we went to that the Hyundai guy was all like, "Hey, check out the Santa Fe, and we didn't really do much with it because our audience didn't really we didn't understand it for one, and our audience really doesn't necessarily interested. But now I wish we'd have spent a little bit of time with it to kind of understand it better.
So I would like to get a what's the Kia van?
Carnival.
The Carnival van.
Rumors suggest that the 2025 Stout would be an economical option that starts at around $23,000. The Ford Maverick starts at $22,595.
Yeah, but Maverick don't even start there anymore.
So this would make it competitive. The 2023 Santa Cruz begins at $25,700.
Did I see that? And y'all may know the answer. Did I see that Maverick is up to about $26,000 starting out now?
The Maverick initially started at $19,995, but it could still provide savings for those who don't need the capability anymore.
Yeah, I love it. Could provide savings of people that don't want a full truck. Well, yeah, but they wanted that $19,000 under $20,000 vehicle. They didn't want. I get inflation right now, the cost of everything, but still, what it is Ford's found some hits with that, the Raptor and all that, and they're going to make you pay for it. They're going to make the money.
That's what we know. So not a tow.
We'll keep an eye on that though. I did miss the boat. Me and OS talked when Maverick launched. We were talking privately about it, and I was like, I just don't see it being a hit. I see it they'll sell it, but not being the hit that it is. And I missed the mark on that one badly.
Paul Elliott said, "Is VW wasting time bringing back the IH Scout?"
I covered that a little bit. I don't know, man. The Scout, I know there's a hardcore audience that loves the Scouts, but the problem is they're not buying EV. I think that Volkswagen sort of ended up with the Scout branding by accident. It was through a couple companies they bought, and it just so happened to be those companies had the Scout trademarks, naming rights and all that. And so it's smart of them to use it, because I've told you guys, a name's worth $1 billion no matter what. There's marketing involved. There is a Scout. People do know what a Scout is. I mean, I don't know that a 16 to 25-year-old really knows what a Scout is, but there is some naming to that. But I don't know, man. There was something that came out a week ago that showed in VW's marketing or whatever they did to I don't know if it was like where all their CEOs get together and talk about their plans, or if it was a PDF to investors, but they showed what the Scout was going to basically look like, which is pretty close to what we've seen. I just don't know, man. Especially Volkswagen being such a massive company, they have money to throw around. But if they're going all EV anyways, I don't understand for Volkswagen. Their dealerships here in the United States want a truck badly. They wanted I forget what they called the truck, the M-Rock or whatever they call it. And this was the answer. They're going to give them a Scout, which they have to then buy into a Scout dealership. They don't get. I think the dealership gets the first rights to that, but they have to buy into it. Volkswagen's interesting. Like I said earlier, they're finding out that people aren't just massively rounding up to buy EVs. And I think if you're anti-EV, not in a bad way, just because you want to be an asshole about it, but if you're just like, it doesn't work for me, I think not buying this stuff, or not, till you're forced to buy it, I think that's how you show these manufacturers, hey, we don't want that, because they don't survive. I think we've learned a lot of these companies target a fan base, and that fan base, the other fan base doesn't like them. I mean, I think, whatever your thoughts were on the Anheuser-Busch thing, I think when people quit spending money with them, I think it showed them that people don't want, especially that being political, that issue, and of course EVs are somewhat political, that I think people spend, you can make change with your wallet. So whether that vehicle takes off or not, I don't know. I mean, the brand never did anything anyways. And just calling it Scout, I don't know. I do like the way they look though, and I'm always interested in new cool vehicles. Sorry, a little preachy there.
I was like, can we get off our soapbox now?
No, I'm sitting on it. What do you got?
So Bronco Dude says, how about the VW? How about the VW ID Buzz? What a sweet revive of the VW Westfala.
I think that thing looks great. I told Sydney, because Sydney wants us to buy an electric vehicle of some sort, and I told her, I was like, maybe that's the next one. Once again, the range, 250-mile range. I've been really watching the Canoo brand, because I've wanted to buy that vehicle if they ever build one. And the Canoo had that segment to themselves, the little minivans like that, and being underfunded, they just allowed VW to come back and go, okay, we'll do that. It's
but again, that has the underpinnings of
Yeah, oh,
the
yeah.
nostalgia.
It's part of the ID. They have the ID tech that VW is using. They have a lot of money behind them, where Canoo doesn't.
Well, you've already got a built-in market a little bit from that
Yes.
perspective
Oh, yeah,
too, because you've got the nostalgia that's going to
The
go
bus
with it.
people love those old buses, but I don't know. Is it ready for prime time? Do they have the EV tech down to, do it? I think it looked great though. Here we are. I think Volkswagen's about to get a spanking, as it were, financially, all the money they're spending. I think GM is too. What are we, like 60 miles out from Buc-ee's?
92.
My bladder says otherwise.
Don't know what to say.
Well, Kelly, anything interesting out there that you, car-wise, that you, I know you would like a Sequoia.
Yeah. I would, I mean, we've talked about this before. There's a couple of dream vehicles that I would love to have sit in my driveway, and
One's coming.
But from a practicality standpoint, for our lifestyle and what we do, like with softball and all the other things, like we're actually on this road trip. I was not really paying attention to the road, and all of a sudden I heard zoom, zoom, and I was like, ooh, that sounds good. And it was a Durango with a V8 in it. And I was like, I would totally have a murdered out Durango with a V8 in the driveway. So there's that, and then the other one would be same platform essentially, Toyota Sequoia. What's the orange?
Tundra. Solar Octane.
Sequoia TRD Pro. Have to have the TRD Pro though. So between the two, I would probably go with the TRD or with the Sequoia, just because it's more practical for our overall life.
I think it looks mean.
Oh, it looks mean, absolutely. It looks mean. It would be able to go out on the trail. Now, how much would we take that out on the trail with being as big as it is?
I think out west, that vehicle like that's more prone to be out west.
Yeah.
And the problem with that one is we put some bigger tires on it. You can put 35s under that pretty easily, and then we're getting 11, 12 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
That's the problem with those dream vehicles like that for us. Is there's a practical review of the vehicle as it is, and then there's how we like our vehicles.
Yeah. But what I do like about the Durango is essentially it's a sports car and an SUV.
Kind of, yeah.
For me from that perspective. So that's what I really like about that is it's a sleeper for people that don't know it. So
it's a sleeper for sales.
It's what?
It's also a sleeper for sales.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a sleeper for sales, absolutely. But yeah, overall, that's it's kind of a toss up between the two. But nothing really catching my eye outside of that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it too. The Carnival Kia would have been nice, or the Kia Carnival would have been nice. Driving to Florida with the kids, throw the two all the way in the back, and then have a little sound barrier between their wildness. That would be nice to have that.
I just think it would be fun to build one, to kind of drop it like
it's hot.
Do some fun stuff with that thing. I think it would be fun. Now, it wouldn't resell well. It wouldn't be practical, but the channel would have to be where we had a little bit of money to throw at it.
Oh, for sure. Where we could have a couple vehicles sitting in them.
Justify it.
Yeah. But
I'm very excited for the Ranger Raptor. So I check my my status every day, and it never moves. So I'm hoping to get a VIN for that coming up.
You good? You good? I think that's a yes.
Yep. All right. Final call for questions or comments. Hey, look, it says NNP.
Where? Oh, yep, sure does.
Yeah.
Bronco Dude says the Carnival with the first class seats inside. Man, it looks unreal. Yeah, it really has. From the one that we drove, or not drove. I'm sorry, the one that we did the walk around at the Chicago Auto Show. It looked like it would be super comfortable for trips like this. Yeah.
No, yeah, like you know, and they're not like the goofy soccer mommy thing anymore. You know, they I
sure.
think these companies have realized, like, fans, you know, obviously I know GM used to have like the Warner Brothers package they put in their vans and all that, where they would throw TVs and stuff in them, but they've just made them nice now. It's a nice vehicle. It's not it's not just a you get what we serve you. Like, you get some good options in those.
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
And they don't look completely tall like those old town and country vans. You know, like, they look kind of like a car-ish, but yet, I don't know. I like them.
Yeah, it definitely looks like an SUV now a little bit more than what, you know, the minivans of our time did.
We had a chance to get, what is it, the Pacifica that we had a chance to get into at Texas Motor Speedway.
Yes.
And we just couldn't find the time to do it.
Yeah.
That was going to be fun. I'd say SUV-wise, probably the Sequoia is the most interesting to me. Big SUVs.
Yeah.
The GMC stuff, I just did a review of a Tahoe. Or I did a build and price on Tahoe. I just don't like it. It was okay.
It's still massive, though. Like, it's huge.
Well, I mean, Sequoia's big, too, but I don't know.
I know, but I would like to see them next to each other to see where they compare in a size perspective, because I still feel like maybe it's because my mom had a Tahoe and I felt like it was absolutely huge. Second front truck, by the way. I think I feel like it's massive.
I like the body panels on the Toyota. It looks aggressive. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It
racing.
definitely has some more aesthetics to it. Lady Addie 19 says people don't want to be politically pressured into anything, including myself. Agreed. Absolutely. Like, yeah, I think the only way to answer that would be to get into more politics. So I just say I agree. That's kind of where we stand.
Well, I don't care where you're at in the political world, man. Nobody either side wants to be pushed into something.
No, absolutely.
Because that's what corporate America is pushing you to, you know?
Yeah. David Zarko says, I can't remember. Did you ever replace your speakers in the Bronco?
We did.
Front.
No, we did the front and the pods in the back.
Yeah.
I did not do the kick panels. I plan on doing the kick panels. I just kind of lost interest in that, honestly. I do plan on adding a under the seat sub, because that's the weakest point of this to me. It's like there's no bass at all. And I mean, don't need to be bumping my music, but at the same point, I like to.
But if I want to bump my music, I want to bump my music.
Hear a kick drum on a drum set, I want to hear it, not like know that it's there.
You want to feel it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Paul Elliott said, did you count the Easter egg logos on the Bronco? We have not actually had a chance to make it through the Bronco to do that.
No, I do get, it is amazing on the forums or on Facebook. People didn't really, I mean, I find it funny because we've known from day one there's some of this stuff.
Yeah.
People will just find them and they'll be all excited, hey, did y'all know? And then poor people get ripped up because it's like, old school Gen 6 guy now, it's like.
Yeah. And here's what I'm going to say to that. I know on Monday nights, Allie and I vent a little bit about the different groups that we're in. If you don't have anything nice to say, just keep scrolling. Like, because that's what we do. We keep scrolling because we're just like.
It's very hard. Very hard.
It is very difficult. Or sometimes Allie or myself will like screenshot it and send it to one another and go, did you see this? But that's the extent of it. Like, we don't like take it and blast it. We're not nasty to people. So just kind of something to think about. But oh, and you just dropped a video, ZR2?
Yep.
Okay.
Fuel economy videos.
So go check out the fuel economy on ZR2.
Yeah, so go check out that video we did on the ZR2. I'm surprised at the fuel economy numbers that thing actually got.
Yeah, me too.
So, whether it be two-wheel drive?
Four-wheel drive.
13 button. I was like, I gotta find that before I end this.
Yep, I got it too.
It doesn't matter what you drive. Thanks for riding along with us here, keeping us company, actually entertaining us.
Yes.
On this trip. And we'll see you Monday, some sort for Bronco Talk Live. Peace.
See ya.